Well, Shekhem, you picked up on my question before I could ask it, and that was, I know many people like myself who, after being educated about religion and supposedly religious-based nations and the things that they've done in the world, we see an example of this right now in front of us, the so-called Holy Land, are questioning maybe not whether there is a God, but exactly how to understand God and how to be able to verify within themselves, they're turning to spirituality, maybe thinking that there's um, a cosmic forces or whatever. I mean, when you say to them, establish number one, your relationship with God, and then number two, your self-identity within that. How will the solstice and the process that you're outlining help people that are in that type of a position where they might not be atheistic, but they might call themselves, they don't know, they're agnostic or whatever you would say?
Well, it's very simple. If the scientists, right, Elon Musk or whatever, were wanting to take a rocket that landed on Venus or Mars or whatever, and they found, let's say, a car, on Mars, they will conclude that, some creature with at least the intelligence of man built that and put that car there. They will know that that car, appearance of that car, could not have been, the result of some random cosmic activity. You see that? The science that goes into making that car would say an intelligent, living, conscious creature is responsible for that car. You see that? So when we look at the complexity of living things on Earth, when we look at the complexity of chemistry and physics and so on, how could you not conclude that these things are the result of an intelligent entity?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Call the entity God, call the entity Allah, call the entity Jehovah, call the entity Nebuchadnezzar. I don't care what you call it. The fact is that you would conclude that it was an extremely, very powerful, intelligent entity that makes man's intelligence look like a puny little thing. It's responsible for the creation of the universe. So there's a double play there, In other words, if you are agnostic, so-called, then you don't know science and what science means. You see that? Because where there's science, there's intelligence, and with intelligence, there's a being that is, using its intellectual faculties, and its abilities to make things happen.
Now, as far as our relationship with that being and our self-image, you mentioned that this was the time of year that these rituals are centered around having the proper self-image. Can you explain that a little bit further?
Well, the winter months is a time. The 3 months of the winter is a time for you to cultivate your union with God. The premise, the underlying premise is that, we are limited in our ability to know, in our ability to achieve, and with our ability to influence each other, to get help, from others and to help others. We are limited. Now, everywhere in the world, the attributes of God is, unlimited knowledge, that's omniscience, unlimited presence, that's omnipresence, and unlimited power, which is omnipotence. So the whole basis of religion and spirituality, the ultimate essential basis of spirituality and religion is for man to, partner with God, to enter into a relationship with God, to supplement and complements man's limitations.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the meditations of the winter months, are focused on. Is for us to establish or renew and invigorate, our relationship with God, so that we can be more successful in the efforts to achieve our goals.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you can go it alone and then complain about the suffering and how life is hard, and and blame your failures on some political party or certain groups of races of people and so on. No, the major source of problem in the world is man, lack of connection to God.
Mm.
Man is ignorant. God is, exceedingly wise. Man is impotent. God is, and God, and you will get that assistance, if you approach, you say God the right way. And this is the course that we have put together for you to learn how to connect with God.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? Some people say, oh, God dwells within us and we dwell within God. But how? And how does that manifest itself?
Mm-hmm.
How do we leverage that? How do we use that? How do we connect? In other words, does God, reside in everybody? The answer is yes, but God is not active in everybody. You have to do certain moral and ethical and spiritual things and meet certain, requirements for you to benefit from God's presence within you.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a total, crazy thing for an immoral person, in the midst of his or her immorality, to claim that God has blessed them with riches.
Mm-hmm.
Then why live the moral life? Why be ethical if you can get help from God, regardless of how you live your life? You see that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.